I am... Fuck. I am what could perhaps be considered a Twitch enjoyer. And maybe that's not such a great thing, because I know a lot of people associate Twitch with cringe due to certain terminology and things, but whatever. My watch hours from 2023 added up to a quarter of the total number of hours in that entire year. And I visited the site on 332 out of the 365 days. I touched grass a bit more in 2024, quite a bit more actually. My watch hours dropped by 15% from the previous year, and there was a whole third of the year where I didn't touch Twitch at all. Some of that is probably to do with the fact that I was trying to seem more appealing to my ex-boyfriend in a pathetically desperate attempt to have him take me back. However, I have spent most of this time unsubbed. The only subs I get nowadays are gifted, which isn't often, so due to the sheer number of ads that regrettably come crawling onto my screen as a result, I believe that I am more than qualified for the position of whatever joke I try to make here, it's just not gonna be funny. So just know that I've spent enough time on the website to be able to speak on this matter. In the grand scheme of things, this one issue in a world full of much bigger issues is probably not that deep, but I don't care because it pisses me off, so I'm gonna complain about it anyway. Woo, yeah, let's go. What? Rant time. The non-sub experience varies depending on who you're watching, because streamers have it in their power to run ads when they choose, which I have no issue with. Even though, sure, asking a question and not hearing the answer, or missing the hype of a really climactic moment because of an ad is frustrating, these aren't scheduled occurrences that can necessarily be made to not happen when an ad is going to run. So quite frankly, I'm sorry, but that is just an L that we sometimes have to take, boys. My issue starts when it comes to streamers who display this blatant and shameless disregard for their non-subs. It is quite infuriating when it gets to the most severe end of the spectrum, I must say. If someone gets hit with something stupid like 10 ads in a row, especially if that is happening often, I personally believe they are well within their right to complain, because at that point you are just taking the piss and nothing more. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not going to drop any names just because I don't think that's necessary, but one of my all-time favorite streamers is unfortunately one that exhibits this kind of behavior, which can be really off-putting, especially when all the yes men in his chat rise up and start riding his dick on the matter. Honestly, he is really funny, entertaining, and so cracked at the main game that he streams. If he wasn't any of those things, I would have fucked off a long time ago, because at that point, what am I even suffering for? The main reason I don't sub is just because I don't want to. I tend to avoid subscriptions as a whole because I don't want a bunch of different apps and services rinsing my bank account every month. I'm already broke as it is. I still wouldn't want that even if I wasn't broke. But the amount of ads he runs on his streams and the way he and a number of his chatters act when it comes to people who don't share their stance on this matter is... like I said, the behavior is blatant and shameless. In almost every single one of his streams I tune into, I'm able to spot someone who isn't subbed in chat complaining about the amount of ads. On multiple occasions, I've seen people who sub to him say that they're subbing because the ads are just too much, or someone getting gifted a sub shortly after making the same complaint. And if you are one of the former, get ready to have multiple people, sometimes even the streamer himself, tell you to, quote, just sub up. This irritates me every single time I see it occur. And not just in his streams, but I'm talking about across the board of any other streamers whose ad frequency is just not friendly to non-subs. I'm mostly a lurker these days, and I don't ever say anything on this issue myself in anyone's chat who is guilty of this. There'd probably be no point, because I don't imagine my opinion is going to move mountains in a sea of yes men. But do you think those people don't know that they have the option to sub? They shouldn't have to, just for the stream to be remotely watchable. If I wanted this many ads, I would just watch TV. And that actually segues very nicely into my next point, because this particular streamer that I'm talking about tried to use that as justification for bloating his streams with ads. Oh boy. Oh boy. I remember a particular occasion on which someone was complaining about them, and he started going on about how you get ads when you watch TV, so how is this any different? Well, let me tell you how it's different. On TV, the content that you're watching is broken up into segments, right? Which the ads play in between. So in that scenario, the ads are not encroaching on the bits that you actually want to see. But on Twitch, the stream doesn't stop. The ads play on top of it, which means you miss everything that happens in the stream while you're stuck watching ads. And I don't care about that little window that they added so you can still see what's happening when you're in an ad. It's shit. And it doesn't make this any less annoying, especially because you've got no audio anyway. When you're watching TV, you're not going to be desperately sitting there waiting for the ads to fuck off so you can see what you're missing, because you're not missing anything. So, with all of that said, it is, in fact, very different, but there was an attempt, I guess. Please, do not get it twisted, because I'm not saying don't run any ads ever. Despite how much I'm sure we'd all love a world completely free of ads, I do understand people have bills to pay, especially in this economy. People should want to sub to you because they find you entertaining and want to support you, not because your stream is unwatchable otherwise. Regardless of how affordable a sub may be, it's still a cost coming out of someone's pocket, so it should be for the right reasons. And people who don't want to sub shouldn't be punished or treated like less than because they aren't throwing money at you. They're still taking time out of their day to come and watch you. Out of all the streamers on the platform that they had to choose from, they chose you. So I just don't think it's very kind. No one held you at gunpoint telling you to be a streamer. You could have easily opted for a more reliable income source. So the long and short of it is, you can get your coins without being a piece of shit about it. And with that, I have said everything that I wanted to say about this, so I'm done. Literally, it's giving, you've got a bit of stream in your ads. Stop, please.